Welcome to the online marketing workshop on NDIS businesses. This is mainly just a free thing that I'm doing to help business owners in this space get more clarity about their business service so that they can find the right clients. All of you here are the purpose that you're serving by doing, like running this business, is to help more people, create a positive impact, serve more. My purpose in life is also to serve more people, and my skill is in marketing. I feel like sometimes I don't have the patience that a lot of care providers and support workers do in working on the field, but I do understand marketing and strategy quite well. So that is my way of contributing to society by helping NDIS business providers, and in doing so, creating a more positive impact in the world. So yeah, I am currently coming up with a course. So I've been doing this for quite a while now. I've been working in digital marketing for about 10 years, a bit over 10 years now. And I've been specializing in the NDIS space for the last 2-3 years. However, this course that I'm building up, this is, if you can see my screen, it's still rough in the workings. I have the content for section 1 and 2. The course is going to be about, basically, in this space, the biggest problem I faced, I've noticed, and it's probably the same problem that you all have, is that most people, business owners, don't know the first thing they need to know about marketing. And honestly, no business owner needs to do a full course on everything to do with marketing. You just need to know what is going to work for you, what is relevant, and most importantly, what is not. So you can just focus on what you do best and have the minimum required to make sure you meet the right clients. That's about it. And so the first part is just about that, clarifying your message, figuring out how to structure your core message for your business so that your target clients can see themselves in your business. And that starts with your sales funnel, like knowing about the sales funnel. And my thing is aligning with purpose-driven business owners. If someone's just like, oh, just money, just this, just that, it's more so something that comes from the heart. If you're all business owners, you know that a job would probably have been easier, but we definitely have something more deeply, like something deeper in us that wants a calling, something like a greater purpose. And that's why we do what we do. And that gives us the energy to go beyond just working a normal 9-to-5 or just having stability, taking the risk, taking the next steps forward. So that's the kind of people that I love working with. And that's something I really focus on here, aligning with your purpose, and then using that as your compass to pinpoint your target customer, using all these together to create your elevator pitch. And then how can you bring your offline connections onto your online marketing? A lot of marketing can be done purely online, where people just find you there, but most of marketing is actually based on supplementing your offline connections that you build. And then based on that, mapping out the whole customer journey and setting up your digital identity. And this is all the technical stuff, what you need to know and what you don't need to know about marketing. So simple things about how your website works, Google Ads, Meta Ads, a bit about SEO, content creation, and storytelling framework. This is a research paper I'm currently writing about the right way of creating content that will get you the right type of engagement. And then the third is, once you actually have growth, how do you make it consistent? And that has to do a lot with some inner work, prioritization, dealing with fatigue. I've graded this out because I haven't written all the content for this yet. I have written content for these two, and I'm going to post this on YouTube and LinkedIn over time. But for today, we are going to go through a summary of the first section. And the purpose of this is, by the end of this workshop, you should all at least have an elevator pitch. Do all of you know what an elevator pitch is? You can just write in the chat below. And then, we'll have a bit of interaction back and forth. It gives me, it's more helpful that way if there's more interaction. So just gonna write it. I mean, I think you can all hear me. Do you guys know what an elevator pitch is? One more person. Everyone coming in within the first 10 minutes as usual. All right. So an elevator pitch is if someone asks you, so What do you do? What's your answer? Do you guys have an answer already? If someone asks you, what do you do for your business? Well, if it's just, I do marketing, great, or I provide care services to anyone, that also is okay. But then a potential client or someone that can refer you to a potential client won't see you as memorable or won't see themselves in your business. So the best way to go about it is to be really specific, but also short about your business, what you do, and what service you provide, how you provide it, and who you provide it to and where, if that makes sense. You know what? I'll give you an example. Let's look at this. Oh, it's my website. Oh no. Okay. Yeah. So if you look here, this is mine. I'm still changing it over and over, trying to simplify it more. But for the purpose of this workshop, this is how it goes. We help purpose-driven service businesses in Australia get seen, build trust, and consistently attract the right clients through clear messaging and simple, effective marketing systems. This is something that would take me 30 seconds to say, and it summarizes almost everything that I do. And that is an elevator pitch. Now we're going to break this down and put it into a formula. So by the end of this workshop, all of you will have that formula and an elevator pitch. Just clarity. Clarity is the most important thing. Once people can relate to your business, once you know exactly what it is, or once you can specify it to exactly what it is, that's when real value is given and marketing becomes easier. Marketing is really easy once you have clarity. All right, so we're going to go through these things real quick. The actual sales funnel, the what, how, and why. And then when we get to the target customer, we're going to do a little bit of an exercise. I have a worksheet for you guys. Yes, it's not just listening. There's a bit of back and forth and activity going on here, so that we can actually remember what we've learned from this 1-hour workshop. Still have people joining in. One moment. All right, so we'll start from this sales funnel. Do you guys know what a sales funnel is? If you do, I will move a lot faster from here. If you don't, then it will probably take 5 minutes. Again, please write in the chat below. Do you know what a sales funnel is? If you write yes, I'll go fast. No? Not sure? You guys aren't sure what a sales funnel is? Cool. I am going to, all right, cool. I'm going to go through it real quick. So this is the journey a potential customer takes from finding out about your business to being a long-term loyal client. And that they come through this funnel. And any customer would have to take these 5 steps in the journey, starting from awareness, which is, when people discover that you exist. That's the first thing. If they don't know you exist, then nothing happens. So where would someone ideally find your business? Online. That would be a list of any of these search results, social media, YouTube videos, paid ads if you're running paid ads, word of mouth, friends, family, they've heard of you, or in community groups that you interact with, or in events that you've gone to and just talked about your business. Next is, all right, they know you exist, but then how are you relevant to them? Why would they even remember you? That's when they evaluate whether they trust your business. And that comes from your current online presence or offline personality, whichever one they see or interact with. But usually the offline personality is supplemented by your online presence, because usually someone will have a conversation with you and they'll look you up online. Oh, that happens with me all the time. Someone will speak to me and then they'll look up Nova Marketing Agency. And if you Google that, the first page is all me. That helps. It'll help you too, just saying. Business website, Google reviews, LinkedIn posts, any free bits of knowledge that you give away, your portfolio examples, like people that you've previously worked with, all of that helps people make a decision. Just saying, reviews is a really big one because you can edit all those things. Reviews you can't write yourself. That is from customers. So that's really important in this consideration part. Okay, now they know about you. They know, they have some information. And then what's the next step? Action. They know enough to take action. They're like, all right, I know this person. They can help me. I feel like they can do what I need. They can solve my problem. How do I get in touch? And you want to make it as easy as possible for someone to hear about you, get to know you, to get in touch with you. And that can be done in multiple ways. In fact, you should have all of these in a certain form. There should be multiple ways of a person reaching up. There should be multiple ways for a person to be able to reach out to you. And it should be as easy as possible for them to do so. Sometimes you'll get a client simply because you were proactive and you responded really quick. That's very important. And so that's the action that they take. They haven't become a client yet. They've just made the first action towards you, sent you a message, an email inquiry, submitted a booking form, downloaded something, responded to your email, something of that sort. Once they do that, then you have a conversation with them. Then it becomes a back and forth where you tell them about your service, suss them out as a potential client, whether you can work with them, whether they can work with you, and that can take multiple forms. The best is face-to-face, and then anything that is the closest to face-to-face that you can get, from video call, phone call. But usually, if in the NDIS space, I feel like the face-to-face is the highest value here. And then once you provide a really good service, then they become your long-term clients, and then their referrals will be your highest form of getting more clients. And so, yeah, that's the sales funnel. From a person finding out that you exist, to getting enough information to know that they want to work with you, to taking the first step towards you, then becoming a client, and then loving your service so much that they become your biggest referrers. Anyways, yeah. Wait, any questions? Did I go too fast? Because I have a lot of content to cover. Moving on to the next one. Okay?
All good, yeah.
Next thing. About 16 years ago, I think now, I saw a video by this person called Simon Sinek about leadership and how to structure the core of your business. And it was based on the golden circle theory, the why, how, and what. And this is a really core aspect of structuring your business. I do have notes here, but I made it a little more interesting this time. I have a worksheet, and I'm going to share with you guys the link to this worksheet, and I would like to go through this together. If you want to get the most out of this workshop, you will follow along with me, take your own notes, and by the end, you will have something solid and tangible. I've sent you a link to this Google Doc, and if you click the link, you will open a copy of this for yourself. So everyone will have their own copy. I will wait a few minutes before I really get into this so that everyone can have something ready. Even if you don't follow this Google Doc, at least have a pen and paper or something to take notes, and then we can go through this effectively together, okay? So I'm going to wait a few minutes for you guys to get ready, and then we're going to go through it. So once I hear a few people say I'm ready, or either by voice or chat, I'm going to begin. This is the what, and then the where, and then how, and then you put it all together. That's your elevator pitch. And then, yeah. All right. I do have very little time. There's a lot of information I'm putting into the next 40 minutes. So I reckon I'm going to start. Is everyone more or less ready for this bit? All right. I'm just going to go with it. Now the thing is, I can fill this out for myself, but I'm not an NDIS business. I'm a marketing agency. So I actually do need a bit of help from some of you. I want to put in services here, like basically I'd like you guys to give your input and tell me about, what you do in terms of your service, so that I can kind of put it all together, and by the end we'll have a bit of a generic elevator pitch. I guess that'll be relevant to all of you. So yeah, can you guys give me some examples of services that you guys already provide? Can you put it on the chat or just say it out loud so I can write it down in this one? What services do you guys currently provide? Something like that? Personal care. Okay, cool. That's more specific. I like that. Personal care assistance. Okay, that is the core support. That's pretty good already. Support coordinator. Cool. Anyone else? Because the personal care assistance can actually be elaborated on a lot more. Personal care for elderly people, specific type of disability, psychosocial, there we go. Psychosocial recovery is more specific. Okay, cool. Personal care assistant. Physical, for physical disability, well, shower dressing, toileting is, wait, let me just write it down first. Psychosocial recovery, and then let's see, supported employment. Ooh, that's a good one. Supported employment for disabled clients using the principles of social role. Okay, I'm going to take this bit. The next part is elaboration. Supported employment for disabled clients. I really like this service. Nice, Alvin. I need one more. Anyone else wants to add? Shower, dressing, and toileting. This is for, well, we're not going to have this here, but is this for community inclusion? Yeah, community inclusion. I've worked with clients in that space. It's brilliant. These are all quite general, so it's a good start, and we're going to get more detailed into all of this, right? So I know these are all different businesses, like different people that have brought all of this together, but for the purpose of this workshop, we're going to, so that we can get something together, we're going to see which one has the best profit that comes out, and it's the easiest to deliver consistently. So we're going to prioritize them 1 to 5, 1 being it's very profitable, and 5 being least profitable for the effort, and 1 being it's very easy to replicate and continue to do in like a lot more of, and 5 being it's so specific to each person that it gets really hard to kind of expand. So right off the bat, I can say community inclusion is something that's okay. I have a question regarding the community inclusion. Is this where you're treating one person, like one client, or is it multiple clients to get? No, community inclusion is usually where you take them out to the shop or to the movies or something. Is that right, Kanwal? You can just chat. Or is it something where it's a group of clients that you are doing something with together? Either or, depends. But yeah, the main thing here is we prioritize them. You will know how to do this best for your business, but I'm going to give them a few numbers. For example, one client, cool. Okay, so that's relatively difficult to provide because like I'm gonna put arbitrary numbers here, guys, for the sake of this exercise, but I want you guys to look at all your services. Like in some cases, for example, personal care assistance is something that you can kind of like spread out a bit more and elaborate a bit further about what type of person you're providing the care to, whether it's like in home or whether you're doing community inclusion. Like these two actually can be done by one business, for example. And then let's just quickly put the cost of it. I would say actually, I'm not 100% sure on this because I'm not providing these services, but I'm doing this for the sake of this exercise. Support coordinating is pretty hard. This is harder, but community inclusion for disabled client, let's say, I'm just going to put arbitrary numbers at this point. Easiest to deliver consistently, sort of. Well, if you know how to do these chores well. Support coordination is hard, but I reckon I'm going to do this. Yeah. And then we basically look at which one has the lowest number in this, then you basically add these two. So this is like 7, 6, 6, 3, 8. So you'll pick all the services that you provide and try to be as elaborate as possible. And then you give them a score, and the lowest score usually wins. And that is your core service in this case. But probably not the case for others here. But for this exercise, I'm going to keep this here. We're not saying that you give up any of those services, but we lead with one. We make it, we have one core service that we spearhead with, that we know that we can provide a lot of. It's easy to replicate, easy to scale in the business, and also the most profitable for you. And that is your core service that you lead with. And then, of course, you have all the other services in the back alongside it. And then where do you operate? Where do you currently provide your services? And where is it the easiest and most sustainable for you to provide your service? I have two separate questions because I assume that I might have some attendants here that do not, that are maybe not providing the service currently, or maybe are looking to shift their service to a different location because they're struggling with their current location. So I had a second question, just in case you wanted to consider this. And since everyone here is in the same industry, I'm going to put something here, but I'd like everyone to share where you provide your services as well. That would be nice. It'd be a nice way to see where we all are. Yeah, so please put in the chat below, where do you currently provide your services? I'm just gonna do this. Well, I'm actually in the Melbourne CBD, but I'm based in the Southeast. I'm just gonna say Melbourne CBD here, right? It has to be specific. because it has to be realistic to where you can actually provide your service. If you have support workers that are in a specific area, then perhaps they can only provide services to a space half an hour, maximum 40 minutes to an hour of that location. So you need to keep that in mind. So it's probably northern suburbs, southeast, or I don't know. Is everyone here from Melbourne or elsewhere? Victoria? Southeast suburbs. Cool. Awesome. That's a good one. Melbourne. All of Melbourne. Is that right, Kieran? I mean, if your service is of that sort, then perhaps Melbourne. That's good. Well, I want to mention something here. For example, with my type of work, marketing agency, I love that, Alvin, City of Glen Ira. Very specific. It's a specific council, a lot more relatable because it has a specific number of suburbs that are there, and people know at the top of their mind whether they fall into your area or not. Very relatable. I actually like that. I'm going to do that. That's really specific. And I'll give you an example. For example, Knox Council. That's a good one. Or Whitehorse Council. Stuff like that really helps. But as I mentioned, for example, I'm a marketing agency and I can provide services to anyone in Australia. So for me, it's a lot more broad, just that specific space. It doesn't matter as much to me. Yeah, not enough that I can't provide a service. I just have to consider that in my strategy. Anyways, so for now, let's just put in, I like these. I'm just gonna put Southeast Melbourne for now. Let's just keep Southeast Melbourne for now. Being very specific is good, but I know a lot of you have mentioned something more general. So I'm gonna pick something that's in the halfway point. Cool. Ding. Ding. I really like this, supportive employment. Okay. Who do you help? This is going to be very specific to each person because this is actually what sets you apart. You have your service and you have your area, but then who do you actually help and how do you help them that is different from everyone else? This is why I have this worksheet. And this is something that I can't really type down very easily, but I would like you guys to have a go at this, please. If you could put something in the chat, that would be really helpful. And most importantly, I'd like you guys to do this for yourselves and have something there. Previously, in one of my previous workshops, I'll give you an example. I think that might help. Which one do I say? Okay, I'll give you a behavior support one and a support worker one. So behavior support one, I spoke to this person. Metanoia Living is his brand. And he had difficulty coming up with an elevator pitch. So what I did for him was we talked about, okay, who was the client that is very memorable to you, that you felt that you could really relate to? And he mentioned that it was this 7-year-old boy that had autism, and he basically did not have good structure in his life. He was doing really poorly at school. He did not have any focus. He was at risk of dropping out of school. And his parents basically hired the support worker his company to help with this child on the NDIS. Was he 7? He was 9, somewhere around that, 7 to 9 age. And so what he did was he worked with him for 4 to 5 days a week, an hour before school and an hour after school. And the service that he provided was in the morning, he would teach the kid to brush his own teeth, make his own breakfast, and then go to school. And if he had done all the things in the morning, after school, he would be rewarded by going to the playground or watching a movie, some sort of wholesome activities like cycling, walking, going to the playground, or practicing boxing, or some sort of activity, right? That would be the reward. And he did this over a period of 3 months, after which the child had his own solid morning routine. It gave him the core discipline and clarity to then continue on with his school work. And it gave him a skill that he will now have for the rest of his life. And that type of specific work and then basically we really like narrowed it down to working with kids from the age of 7 to 16 that have high spectrum ASD or learning disabilities, by building by routine building and getting them on track. So he wanted to work with kids within that age range with this type of disability, and the way he wanted to help them was by giving them a specific routine in their lifestyle that could help them have an anchor point that would help them with the rest of their day. And that was how he answered this. How? What problem? And how did you approach it? Morning routines. And what was the end result? They had a habit that they could work with for the rest of their life. While I spoke for a while, did anyone have anything that they can add? Or should I say another example if that helps? Disabled clients who are interested in becoming more than mere service users, but nice. Disabled clients become more than mere service users, but want to achieve more in terms of social and occupational functioning. I really like this, Alvin. We're going to elaborate on this a bit more nicely, but I do want to mention, I did mention that this is for one person, a client, a past client, an ideal client. See, very important thing with marketing, if you speak to everyone like in a loudspeaker, no one person can relate. But the beauty of online, like having an online presence, is only one person is looking at your website or your message at a time. So if you speak to people, a person can't relate. So the message has to be for someone really specific, and then they can see themselves working with your business. So yes, what you mentioned is good. I'm still going to put it down because we are making progress here. Not that, sorry. Here. Disabled, I would just change the wording. Client with a disability, right? What disability you need to, what type? Because there are plenty from here. It's very broad. It's just the word disability. So someone with a disability who is interested in becoming more than a mere service user, and wants to achieve more in terms of social and occupational. Yeah, cool. This sound, see, I just changed the slightest bit of wording. I really don't like saying like disabled client. It's like separating the person from the disability, and it's like a really core ethos I work with. So a client with a disability who is interested in becoming more than a mere service user and wants to achieve more in terms of social and wants to achieve higher socially. This is good. That sounds like someone can actually relate to that. A person with a disability and they want to do more with their life in terms of social and occupational functioning. Anyone else that has a recommendation here that I can put in and really elaborate? Alvin, was that helpful? Cool. Next one. I like this. So how was your approach different than anyone else that could have provided, say, what was it? Supported employment for disabled clients? There's definitely plenty of others, 100 or so, that do provide it. But how is what you're doing different? That's the next question. if you don't have, if none of you have an answer immediately, I can perhaps give you another example. This one is of a support worker. Kanwal will know her, Mohini. She works as a support worker and a registered nurse. And I don't remember the whole thing exactly right now, but the part that was memorable to me was that she worked consistently and she focused on actually listening to the person and changing, like basically it was a lot to do with neuro-linguistic programming. She spoke, the way she spoke to the person made them feel really hurt. So it's this person that had an ongoing sickness that they needed constant care for. They had this infection in their leg that would have to be amputated if they did not. And of course, they had a learning disability and all that. That would have to be amputated if it was not looked after. So she was a registered nurse was assigned to her, and for years, no person could have given her any antibiotic or like looked after her because she was so adamant and stubborn with not getting help. But then this person, this registered nurse, came in and listened to her and didn't force her to do anything. And it was more so focusing on how she spoke, and the approach was more so focused on empathy and NLP to make the client feel heard. So yeah, I know it's still slightly generic. We're still working on that with her, but at least it's still relatively more specific. So if anyone has a how you do your you provide your service that is different from others, we'd put that here. And then of course, if so, yeah, anyone welcome to send through a how on the chat. And then if you have this, then you look at a problem and then you look at a solution. Where were they before they started working with you? What was the end result? This how is like one of the strongest things you can have in your elevator pitch. Well, not just elevator pitch, in your core message, in your core business, and how you show up in front of potential clients. Well, I actually have a few stories of this that I've worked with in some of my clients, like service provider clients. But I can give an example already with this one. What's the end result of the service you provided? Oh man. Okay, I'll give one that I heard just this weekend. It was a woman who had her left foot. She had a surgery of some sort, and she could not. No, her right foot. She couldn't use it very well, so she was driving with her left foot. My client that works with like disability help in driving, helped her with a left accelerator pedal in a car, and then helped her learn to drive more confidently, and eventually got her to help teach others how to drive, people with disability and autism, because she had gone through the same thing, so she could relate. And now she has helped about 100 over 6 years, about 130 people or so get their driving licenses, from someone who didn't even feel confident from driving to someone who is a community leader in empowering people with disabilities to be their best. That was the end result. That is super powerful. And yeah, she's one of their employees for iDrive Safety. End result, life changed, something. I can't put this into words because I don't have an exact example in this case for you guys, NDIS space. And then this one. Okay, wait. Is everyone done with this? Am I moving too fast? I'm probably moving too fast. Just let me know if all of you have something here, and then I'll move on to the next one. I'll wait for one of you or some of you to just say, move on to the next one. Next page. Cool. I'm going to go to the next page. Why? That's really important. Okay. Resource consultants to work with individual clients one-on-one, listen to the stories, listen to the I like this. I'm going to put this here. How? I like this. I feel like there's some more work that could be done there with this part. What qualities do your consultants have? So clearly, this is a really core part of the service, and this is really important. So what type of consultants you source makes the backbone of your business, and it has to be like basically you have to kind of like, how do I put it? There needs to be perhaps a keyword or so that elaborates on that. We source consultants based on empathy and emotional intelligence. This is something that I would have added, because that's like the number one criteria you would need for the work that's being done here. So this is something important to have. It'll affect the last elevator pitch as well. To work with clients, this repetition, clients one-on-one. Listen to their stories, elicit their life goals, and help them achieve those goals with a team of professionals working behind the scenes. Yeah. We source consultants based on empathy and emotional intelligence. That kind of elaborates all of this. To work with clients one-on-one, to help them achieve these goals. To help them achieve, to work with clients one-on-one, and to help them achieve those goals with to help clients one-on-one, to help them. I would write this word in here, consistently. Really important. Because what am I doing? Consistency matters. Like, they might achieve a goal once, and that's like great. But then the consistency of setting a goal and achieving it, setting another goal, achieving it, is true progress. One goal is just a dopamine hit. So I know it's not much. I'm just adding a word, but how we structure these things in the core of our business really affects everything else in the surface of it. So the consistency, I think, is really important here. I mean, I'm sure you already do it, but just putting it in wording really helps elaborate the message. What was the end result? If anyone has that, that'd be good too. But other than that, I'd also like to move forward to the next one. Why do you do this? Why did you choose this line of service when you could have picked absolutely anything else to specialize in? I think this is a reminder of the free will that we all have. And despite that, we have chosen this line. It's not the easiest. It's not something that makes the most money, but it's something that we're currently doing. Why are we doing this and not anything else? There's a clear why behind it. I can give you my why, because yeah, I want to create a more, I feel like my purpose in life is to serve. I want to create a more positive impact in the world. And I'm good at understanding marketing and strategy. So that's how I'm doing that. That's how I'm focusing on my why. If me helping you guys clarify your message makes you meet an ideal client whose life is changed because of this whole exchange of knowledge, then my purpose is served. That's it. That's why I do it. I want to create a more positive impact in the world. That is my purpose. And some of you may say you really love helping people. The fulfillment you get from seeing someone succeed, from seeing someone go from a really harsh, tough place to a place, of empowerment and self-actualization. If it gives you a sense of fulfillment, that's your why. The why is not something that makes it all the way to the elevator pitch, but it does structure how you phrase the sentence, or how you show up as a person, or what keeps you from not quitting when things get hard. The why is very important, and that's something that's your personal North Star. Cool. We have a bit here already, so let's try to put it together and see what we have. One moment. Okay, so we have supported employment for disabled clients. We have in city of, let's just use that for now, city of Glen Ira, because I guess Alvin's had all of this. City of Glen Ira. Cool. And then you have consultants based on empathy and emotional intelligence that I added, clients with disabilities. And then, oh, by the way, I didn't bring this up, but for all of you here, can you please add your why as well? Let's just hear it here. What's your why? Why do you do this? Please add that here. And I will give you cool. That's fine, Alvin. That's something maybe you have to dig a bit deeper into your own thing, but we'll get to that. City of Glen Ira, right? City of Glen Ira. To an intern representing my employer. Well, what does your what's your employer's why? At least you would know that if you're representing them. I help people with disabilities in the city of Glen Ira access supported employment. Yeah, you should. Because as a business owner, the why is what keeps us from burning out or crashing out when things get hard. So if Alvin, you are ever interested in being a business owner, the why is very key. And I think the rest of us here would agree with that strongly. I help people with disabilities in the city of Glen Ira access supported employment through one-on-one support from empathetic consultants backed by a professional team. How does that sound? That was from all this information that we just went through here. Instead of saying, what was the initial thing? Just supported employment for disabled clients. So much more specific. City of Glen Ira access supported employment through one-on-one support from empathetic consultants backed by a professional team. Who, where, how, who, where, and how. Then you have that. And then we go to the next step of, great, you have your elevator pitch. We've basically gone through this much. real quick. It's supposed to take a lot longer. And then we go through offline connections, customer journey, and all that. I will actually be posting these videos on my YouTube and LinkedIn. I have actually not set that up yet. I've just set up the curriculum. So if you would like, please, and you'd like more information from here on out, please add me on, add me on LinkedIn, subscribe to my YouTube, and you'll just get that. Really, there's not much else. I just want to help out people, just like so that you can help more people. But yeah, I do have my own marketing agency, and we have also, this is all the stuff that we talked about, and these are some of our clients right now. If you do need help with marketing, you can have a conversation with me. We can go through more in depth, more details. But yeah, that's what we have. We have 5 more minutes left of this workshop. If you have any questions, now's the right time. Oh, also, look at my website if you want to have a follow-up conversation. If I went too fast in my content, if you had questions you wanted to discuss in person, something very specific to your own business, you wanted to find help, if you wanted help to find out your why, how that works, there's a process in there as well. I'm welcome to help with that too. But yeah, that was the workshop. Was it helpful? What do you guys think? I'd like some feedback. So yeah, I have all of your emails. I'll send through the recording of this workshop to you guys if you need any more, if you want to look through something else and need any more help. I will send through a link of this workshop and the of the slides and the document to you guys as well, so you can do it in your own time. But yeah, that was mostly it. Yep, I'll do that. No worries. Thank you, Rebecca. And yeah, that was the workshop.